I'm not right. I'm not left. I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. I'm not libertarian. I'm a human being that wants.
Human fucking being. Well, welcome back to the Clip Farm. This is Mike.
And Matt with the Clip Farm.
So today we are going to talk about Donald Trump and his legal issues in various different states and some of the things that we think about it. We'll start up in New York because that one, I believe, is 3 weeks ago when that decision was made.
What's that?
I said we're going to touch on the New York one first. I believe that court ruling was 2-3 weeks ago, something like that.
Oh, I thought it was just last week, actually, but yeah, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. Well, anyways, we'll cut over and we'll start over here. This is Whoopi Gold. This is Whoopi Goldberg on The View. I apologize for that.
His name over every single building here in New York, and now he looks like one big huge loser, and he doesn't have and people now will know that he doesn't have the money, that he doesn't have business acumen, that he's not a great business person. And I got to tell you, that's what hurts. But
that's what hurts, Kevin, and that seems to be the goal here. What do you say?
So those that don't know, that's Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank.
I listened to the governor of New York's words,
also a billionaire,
in the last 48 hours to try and quell the concerns of investors like me. What she basically said was, it's okay to do business in New York as long as you're not Donald Trump and you behave properly. Now, I don't even know what that means, but I'm asking myself, why take the risk? Who's next is what everybody's asking. Okay, I understand what happened here. I don't agree with the size of the penalty, and I think on a bipartisan basis, most people don't. They think it's quite unfair given that there was actually no victim and no monetary losses. And in fact, it's just detailed. The victim actually testified for the defense on behalf of Trump, saying, we don't think anything's wrong here. And by the way, this practice is done by every developer in every city. But think about the problem I've got. I don't have to invest in New York, but I do have to invest. And right now, the fastest growth of capital in development is in data centers. They're expensive and they require power, they require fiber, and they require policy. And they need stability because you're going to invest about $3.6 billion over 22 years. And there's a real demand for data centers because of AI. Now, New York has Niagara Falls, and that's behind the power, sub 5 cents a kilowatt hour. That's very interesting. But so does Oklahoma, North Dakota, and West Virginia. So where do I go? Why would I even take a 1% risk with what's going on in New York? Why don't I just go to where the governors, in the case of Stitt or Burgum or Justice, are pro-business? They actually ran businesses. They don't do this to companies, and they know the damage is going to happen. So,
all right, we'll end that portion there. But those that may or may not know, Trump basically got sued for business practices in New York, and it is going to be appealed in, I believe that the Supreme Court's taking this New York case, but he was fined something like $350 million plus from the state of New York for how he conducted business. The way I understand it is when you're doing you do a developmental loan based on the value that you estimate the property will be when it's done. And then you get insurance and everything based on that. And I believe that that's what they sued him for, because they were saying that he lied or something to that effect, saying things are valued more than they were.
Yeah, so they were after him because he says it was worth X amount. And they're claiming that Trump inflated the value of it to avoid taxes, or deflated the value of it to avoid taxes, one way or the other.
Right.
And there's no proof of that whatsoever, yet they convicted him on it.
So yeah, it's wild. So yeah, the New York case is interesting, but when you hear another billionaire come out and say, why the F would I do business there? That should make the hair on the back of your head stand up, because he's not the only one.
Good point. I mean, if they're going to go after Trump based on politics, which is all this is, in my opinion, who's to say Mr. Wonderful there or some other large investor says something that they don't like, so they go after him for the same reasons.
Exactly.
They're trying to ban Trump from having any ability to do business in New York for 3 years as part of saying on this. That doesn't even make sense.
So that's just one case that Trump's been dealing with. I'm going to jump over here to this other one that Trump's been dealing with, and I found this one pretty interesting as well. This is Fannie Willis. She's the one that came out and publicly, basically publicly arrested Trump. That's where we got the infamous Trump mugshot out of Fulton County, Georgia. And come to find out, she was doing some pretty slimy stuff herself. And I think it just came out. She was removed from this case, but I'll play this snippet from her. See if I can make this full screen. This is coming from the Wall Street Journal.
You're confused. You think I'm on trial. These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. I'm not on trial, no matter how hard you try to put me on trial.
Mr. Durham, you're still with us on Zoom.
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. McDougall.
You have a couple, Your Honor, but it's a little awkward from back here.
Well, it's highly offensive when someone lies on you, and it's highly offensive when they try to implicate that you slept with somebody the first day you met with them, and I take exception to it.
Has he ever visited you at the place you laid your head?
So let's be clear, because you lied in this. Let me tell you which one you lied in. Right here. I think you lied right here. No. This is the truth, Judge. And it is a lie. It is a lie.
So that guy is the special prosecutor that answers to her, the guy that actually went after Donald Trump.
I say, and it's very clearly been at her behest.
Is a very
and there was a lot of monetary stuff going back and forth between those two. Not saying Trump doesn't deserve to answer in court down there, but people that are prosecuting him seem to be pretty dirty.
Yeah. Well, especially being is that this prosecutor ran two of the things that she actually ran on was that she didn't like the affairs that her predecessor was having. So she wanted to clean up the office for that. And then the second thing that, well, one of the other things that she ran on was specifically about getting Trump.
So it said at the end of that she was officially removed, and this information came out on the Wall Street Journal about 2 days ago. So by the time you're viewing this, about a week ago. So that was the Georgia case. I believe that this case will probably be thrown out. I don't know exactly what will happen, but you're talking about the two head people that are going after Trump, and it was 19 co-defendants for trying to overturn the election in 2020 out of Georgia. We're doing some pretty dirty things.
Yeah. And I don't care how you feel about which side of the 2020 election you're on. If you honestly look at it, there was a lot of shady stuff that went on.
There was shenanigans afoot for sure. Whether
it's all out there. Well, not all of it, but a lot of it is out there in public knowledge and information these days. So do yourself a favor, look it up. Don't believe us, don't believe them.
And then the final one I'm going to talk about is Trump, or the Trump, but Trump's dealing with issues in Florida, but more specifically for handling of classified information. So we got New York, we discussed that, Georgia, and then I'll play this for you here in just a second.
Classified material next to your Corvette. What were you thinking?
My Corvette's in a locked garage. Okay, so it's not like you're sitting out in the street.
So the material was in a locked garage.
Yes, as well as my Corvette.
Classified material next to your Corvette. What were you thinking?
My Corvette's in a locked garage. Okay, so it's not like you're sitting out in the street.
So the material was in a locked.
Okay, so yeah, we're going after We're going after Trump for classified material. What
Yeah.
kind of clown world are we living in? Good day, mate. Come on, man. But anyways, back to the actual story here. It's quite clearly going after him, and I don't know. I wasn't part of any teams that went and collected information, but Trump did have his Mar-a-Lago house raided, and is having to answer in court over his
Well, something I'd like to point out about the differences between the Trump and Biden documents. Biden clearly stated his documents were found in his garage behind his Corvette. Trump had what they call a skiff installed in his Mar-a-Lago residence. I don't know what all that entails, but it's a high security room, heavy locks on the doors, probably soundproofing and some other stuff. But the documents at Trump's were secure, actually secure. I remember the news saying that they had to, there were like 3 or 4 deadbolts that they had to undo, plus some kind of a computer lockout setup. As opposed to Joe Biden having his stuff literally sitting on the trunk of his Corvette.
Right. And I know that if you Google it, there's some pictures of the random boxes in Joe Biden's garage. Also, the FBI did not raid his house. Now, in all fairness, when that was discovered, Joe Biden was the president of the United States, so it would have been very unethical to raid his house. So I will agree that probably the same way that Trump got treated. But more or less, all jokes aside, Trump supposedly had classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. So they're working on setting up a trial date. It looks like sometime in July is what they're shooting for that trial date. But the thing that they're going to run into an issue with is, as of Tuesday, Trump will officially be the Republican nominee, and it will be election interference now. If this stuff is still hanging over his head. So I think that the Supreme Court is going to probably pick up this case pretty quickly, and it's either going to be dealt with pretty quickly or it's going to be wait until after the election. But
yeah. To avoid the appearance of impropriety, I would think that they'd actually push it off till after the elections. And one other point on Biden's documents, most of the documents that they've recovered from the Biden locations, because there are at least 3 that I'm aware of, were taken from when he was vice president, not when he was actually sitting president. So,
right,
there's an 8 to 10 year gap there that Biden's been sitting on these documents, and he didn't have the authority to take them at the time. Trump, as POTUS, actually did have the authority to have the documents he had.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that's never really been talked about publicly. Were these classified? Because the president can declassify information, and you might pick up a piece of paper that has classification markings all over it, but if it was something that he declassified, yes, it still has those security markings, but it's not a piece of classified information anymore. So that's neither here nor there. But yeah, that's the 3 cases. I think that there's another one going on somewhere, but the New York one's wrapped up. I think the Georgia one is about to get thrown out, and the Florida one's kind of the only really interesting one that may be a factor on this election. We will see. But with that being said, when President Trump and President Trump and President Biden meet and debate, they both can talk about handling of classified information. Maybe they can get some advice from Hillary Clinton. Maybe she'll give them some good advice.
She can recommend a good destruction tool.
Yeah, she might know a good server to pass around classified documents. I don't know, but nonetheless, I think this next year is going to be wildly entertaining, and here at the Clip Farm, we're looking forward to it.
Oh, most assuredly.
Oh, well, that being said, man, we're going to get out of here on this one. We will catch you in the next one. Thank you for coming.
Peace.